Um, so, what is embody yoga, right? Everybody's talking about embodying yoga. There are the embodiment conferences and the embodiment and yoga conferences, and a lot of interest in the entire subject of this embodying yoga. So I want to say what the embody yoga kind of system, not really a system, but has a lot of principles to apply to yoga that come from the inside out. And in about 2002, I started calling what I was teaching, and still am teaching, embody yoga. One word, one Y, right? So I want to say what that is lineage-wise, because I think that makes a difference. It does define there are differences in practices that are being called embodied practices. So I feel it would be great if we all define what it is that we see as embodiment, how we approach it. So that's what I'm going to do. Lineage. The lineage that I've been bringing into this work comes from two ends. A very, very strong asana, Western, what they now call postural yoga, deep breathing, Iyengar infused, Ashtanga Vinyasa, primary teachers of mine, strong yoga time, Anna Forrest for a decade, working directly with her, actually living at the Center for Yoga in the Larchmont District together for quite some time, practicing daily long practices. And then Patabi comes in. He doesn't really thrill me, but eventually Richard Freeman becomes part of the picture, and I realized that I really love this practice, and I loved his approach, which was a much more poetic and spiritual and so on and so forth. So that went on, came very, very deep into my understanding. Then I was introduced to some of the more tantric practices by Alan Finger, and I took Alan as one of my teachers for a good some time, interweaving the tantric practices into my otherwise asana and physical practices, and my many, many, many years of meditation practice that I later found out had actually had a tantric genesis as well. I only wove that together much later. So, yeah, and then the Iyengar teachers, when I was for a long time working with Iyengar teachers, there were some, I don't even know if people know who these people are anymore. Ramanand Patel, amazing teacher. He teaches in the Bay Area. I hope that any of you in the Bay Area will look up Ramanand Patel. Adil Palkivala was a tremendously influential teacher for me. Donna Holloman, one of the great teachers in the world. Also, these people aren't as well known. And the yes, famous Angela Farmer. So these were huge teachers. However, I was good at asana, and I knew it, and I was pretty attached to being good at it, right? I liked the ego gratification of it. But I started to realize that it wasn't, it's good, but not quite right. And as I began to actually acknowledge that there was something missing here, I met the next big influence in my inquiry into consciousness and form. And that is Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen, who many of you know is the founder of the School for Body Mind Centering and has been working with the depths of embodiment and consciousness, the embodiment of consciousness and form equally, working with that for 50 years. So I met Bonnie as the Western woman that she is, and the woman who would accept all of the foibles of humanity without any question. It just wasn't a problem, right? And yet, this wide open awareness that I witnessed in her, and I said, that's it. This is the teacher that won't negate anything else, that won't say, well, that's really wrong and you got to do it this way. This was the most non-judgmental human I had ever run into. And she also had the deepest understanding of the inner workings of consciousness and body. So I've been studying with Bonnie for 20 years. When I met her, I said to myself, wow, I now know what my life's work is. My life's work is, and continues to be, to bring the wisdom of this new teacher of mine to the pantheon of the fantastic teachers I had, but the current teacher of mine, to bring the wisdom of her understanding of the depth of practice into yoga. And it takes time. This is not the fast food version of going deep. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've gone through all these weird things and, come back in classes and said, I don't know, I don't think that works. And thank you to the people who rode around along with me for so many years and actually respected that it was not knowing something, it was inquiry, and by the way, it continues to be. What we have seen is that our consciousness, our awareness, our acceptance of life as it is, our spontaneous joy, the health and vitality of our bodies, what the awake cells feel like, we have found that this is real. And it's the gift of Bonnie. The gift of yoga is that the form and the process is perfect for embodiment studies, and that was what channeled my excitement in the first place. Continues to channel my excitement today, and that's it. I just wanted to give a little thumbnail sketch of where this practice, or my version of this practice, comes from. What I am offering, this is where it comes from. And I've learned, not one is better. I finally learned that. It depends on your affinity, what works for you, right? So that's that. Just wanted to share it, and I thank you for listening, and I hope that if you're interested in this approach, you will contact me and we'll join. We'll join in the inquiry together. We'll make it bigger. We'll bring in the divine feminine, enriching the world and ourselves with our own practice and our own love. Thank you.